Yeah, what is going on, everybody? We back from my experience podcast. I'm your host, Rob. I have a very special guest with me. She's been on before. We talked about bathing and travel and creating a mood and an ambiance and just controlling your energy. And I'm glad that she's back for part two so we can talk about her businesses and what it's like to be a African American female business owner, and we're gonna dig into her personal life a little bit if she lets me. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Fountain.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. How are you?
I'm not that good. I'm going through some transitions. You already saw what I was drinking, so
All good. By the end of this, we're both gonna be in a better place, better atmosphere mentally.
okay. I'm gonna try to be. How have you been? It's been what, 3, 4 weeks?
It has. I think maybe a little longer, 4 to 5 weeks. But
Perhaps. Any new trips since then?
no, no, but I am going to Atlanta soon, so that'll be fun. Um, I did no, I did go. I went to DC.
Ah, yeah, you sure did. You did. I saw
Yeah,
the pictures.
yeah. So DC,
Was
that
killing
was
it
a
with them
great trip.
outfits. I said, hold on.
We're not gonna start off like this.
What you mean?
Oh my
Listen,
God. Well, thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
DC gives me good energy, good vibes. It's a lot. It's a whole cultural experience. You dive in, like, I just appreciate the arts, the creativity, like everything about DC I love. I have family there. Some of my good friends are there.
Hmm.
So lots of history. It's a good place.
I ain't been there in so long. That's one of the things I'm gonna change. After this year, well, I'm going to Jamaica. That's gonna be the only trip I'm gonna be able to make. But after this, next year, I'm definitely gonna put travel. That's like gonna be a part of my life because I want that exposure.
No pun intended.
Right, no pun intended. All right, so last time we touched on your businesses, but our conversation was so good and so great in the other areas that I was like, I don't want it to be a 5 hour podcast. So I wanted to have you back so you could talk more about your businesses and where people can find it and how you got them started. So let's start with you do a couple of things. Tell the people what you do.
Well, I am my 9 to 5. I have a lash studio in Texas, and there I do lash extensions, makeup artistry, um, pretty much anything in the lines of lashes. I'll be adding brows by the end of the year. I currently do threading, but candles. I just am I would think I like to dibble and dabble in different areas, and right now those two are my main focus. I'm also a blogger, and that's pretty much it. Avid traveler, I love to travel. So
Now, how'd you get into the lashes?
lashes were a fluke, actually. It's really a good life story, but for the sake of time,
Nah, go
I'll
ahead. I got time. I don't know if you have time. You busy and stuff.
um, lashes are when I first moved to Texas. Even before Texas, I got laid off. I was working in HR, and I had just gotten laid off from my job, and so I had never not worked before
Mm-hmm.
up until that point. Like I've always had a job since like 14, and um, I was like, well, let me do Mary Kay, and I started doing Mary Kay to try to supplement my income, and it was during that process that I discovered like people really like getting their makeup done, and like I'm good at this naturally. Like I feel like I have a skill in it, and it just was a natural fit in the beauty industry. I grew up in the beauty industry. My aunt had a salon, so I used to help out there when I was young. So it's always something that was in me, but not I hadn't done it professionally. So I decided It was just a great season in my life to move, to relocate, try something new. And if I was gonna do it, I was gonna do all of it and just do it and either sink or swim.
Right.
So I figured I could go home if I needed to, but let's just try it. So moved to Texas with my line sister. Um, Started there, went back to beauty school and aesthetics, and that kind of led to me being licensed to do the lashes. And so I just really wanted to get out of Houston. Dallas was a good fit for me. And so I just was applying to all of these different salons just to get out of Houston. So I applied at a lash salon in Dallas, and it was one of the only jobs that had actually called me back. Crazy.
Wow.
I was like, what do you mean overqualified? Like I'm wanting to do this. Like
Yo,
I'm
that
trying to quit.
overqualification sucks.
It's some real BS, but it led me to a salon that specialized in extensions. And I remember distinctively, I put in MapQuest. This is back when you can still use MapQuest, but I put the all the places that I wanted to go to hand and like door to door
Yeah.
and apply for the application. So I put them in MapQuest, and it organized them so that I would go in order by distance, and because I didn't know the city, so
Right.
I didn't know where each part of town was, and it was like 25 places in one.
Dang.
Yeah, in one day I went,
Wait, whoa,
and
whoa, 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 whoa. You applied to 25 jobs in a day.
yeah, like that's a
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a hustler. I don't want to hear nothing else from
yeah.
y'all in
And
Texas.
the funny part is, it wasn't even my car.
Yeah. Shout out to the homie that let you use the car.
Yes, like when we moved, I moved to from like I said, Houston to Dallas, and it was me, my friend Marquita, and my friend Whitney. We all decided that we were gonna go to Dallas at the same time, and so we would carpool depending on, and they were in a better financial position at that point. I was unemployed, just finishing beauty school, so I really wasn't. I didn't have the income, so I would be the one carpooling with them, and then they would alternate who was driving. So we would all come down together, and I remember driving my friend's car place to place in the GPS, and then trying to get back to their because they had interviews too.
Right.
So it was like finagled all in between. But one day I did 25 places, and the only place to call me back was the lash place. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care if I work there for 3 weeks and then have to do something else. I'm getting out of Houston.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Well, shout out to having real friends. And y'all, let me tell you, having that helps, man. Like I was just talking to some people that were younger than me, and I was telling them, where I was in my life, and I was just giving them advice. It made me feel like the old dude in the room, which I was, but they're about 10 years younger than me, actually more. And I was like, look, if you have a good circle, you have a good true friendships with people, like talk to your friends about what you're trying to do, and y'all can ride out and support each other until y'all ready to do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that helps, like not having to pay full rent or whatever, or having someone around in the area in case your car breaks down or there's an emergency or something, and just an overall support system. But that's what's up.
Right. It's very important to have that support, because sometimes family may not always understand your choices. Like that was a difficult time, just because I was coming from such a structured family, like not family, but educational background. So
Right.
a total career change. It was like, what do you mean you just got your master's and you're gonna be a makeup artist? So
Yeah.
all of that stuff, I still find it interesting how it played out. But that's how I got into the lashes, and then the lashes, like I was doing makeup even before that. It was the makeup that stimulated the move to Houston, and then I was freelancing, and then I started at that salon, and then I kind of just paired the two with what I'm currently doing, which is Lash and Soul, and that's in Plano, Texas. So just a blend of my experiences kind of coming together.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely feel you on the whole family thing because my family said the same thing. They're like, "You supposed to be teaching?" No, I want to do
Right.
something else. So I'm like, I'm about like at this point in my life, I want to pursue what I'm passionate about. Like I have to love what I do, or I can't. I'll never be able to give it 100%. Like I want to
Exactly.
be happy and excited to get ready to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Not stressed.
Nobody wants to be stressed.
I don't know. Some people seem to thrive in that type of situation and environment.
Not for me.
I've been done with that since '05. We ain't gonna talk about that though. Anyway, now all right. So let's talk about your personal life a bit.
Dum, 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 dum.
Don't do that now, fellas. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is a gorgeous woman. Very beautiful, very fine. Good head on her shoulders. Hard worker.
Thank you.
All that stuff. As one of my favorite comedians, Martin Lawrence, would say, "Boom, boom, boom, pow." Is
Thank you, Will.
so. Listen. So okay, what? So now you work, you travel, you have a lot on your plate. When's the last time you made room for someone special in your life?
Oh, you really jumping out there, aren't you?
Yeah.
um, I make time for people special in my life. That I think that what you consider special or time, the pockets of time vary. Sometimes that's a FaceTime. Sometimes that's like actual, phone call. But I try to stay in the loop. But I think, yeah, that's pretty much.
Okay, you gonna make me ask these hard ass questions. That's fine.
What did I do?
When's the last time you been on a date?
Ha. Okay.
You might have me beat.
I went on. This is funny. Like the last time I went on a date was I think 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
3 or 4 weeks ago. But before that, it was a while, which is
Okay.
so interesting. Like I think I went on like a series of 3 dates in a very short amount of time. But like before that, it was like all of 2017. So
Wow.
yeah, it varies.
Okay. So where you are now in your life?
Doc, you look like whoa. The fact that I can see you, I'm sorry to everybody that's actually listening to this, but his face right now. I mean, pick it up.
It just no. I just it really shocks me when I see someone like you who, from granted I don't know you, but I know you from our conversations and from what I see. Like to see someone like you single is always find that very interesting. Cause I'm like, who wouldn't? Why wouldn't
That's
they?
interesting that you say that. I think that is actually a real uh epidemic without to be dramatic. I
Really?
feel like yeah, I feel like I know a lot of dope women, like women that I'm like I admire and that I'm like, dang, like she's amazing. Like she really has it going on. However, I find them to be single and I don't know, like I've had guys just like stare but not approach me or like not take initiative. Or the guys that take initiative really don't
They trash.
aren't fitting the bill, like to be the one. Like, and that sounds bad. I don't mean that in any way. It's
No,
just
it's
I
real. We got
there are
standards.
prerequisites, like to everything, and like you have to be deserving of time, and my time is valuable. Like, and I like to spend it with people that appreciate it,
Okay.
whether that's in business, whether that's outside of work. I just really like to make sure that the people that I'm around are people that are going to elevate me or have conversation and things like that. So
All right. So, couple things. I need some help.
Okay,
So help
let's
me
get.
out. It's 2018. Obviously, we're from the same era of that. Basically, you see her, you holla. You know what I'm saying? You try to do your thing. This is, you know, for you younger people out there, Facebook and Instagram and inbox, you didn't have access to people like that. Like, it's like if you saw her, like, you needed to make that move unless y'all went to school together or something, because you don't know when you're going to see her again. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You can't randomly, like, now it's creepy because you can randomly hop on social media and within a couple of clicks you might find them, you might not. All you need is a first name and a city. Sometimes you can find them.
Right.
So what approach do you prefer? Like, how are you meeting people these days?
Well, oh, this is such a loaded question. Um,
Wait,
my
let me unload some of it. Let me unload some of it.
Okay.
What should a guy say to you? You're out, you're at the mall, you're buying some essential oils to make some candles or whatever you buy for for candles. And this guy's in the store and he looks at you and he's walking your way. What does this guy need to what are you looking to hear from this guy?
Um, I think being vulnerable in the sense like obviously I don't expect him to pour his heart out in that moment, but I feel like a lot of times people come very guarded just in, hey, how are you? Well, I mean, it's like a guarded persona. So I appreciate when people are like genuinely themselves and are accountable. Like I guess you don't know all of that in necessarily the approach, but something that's genuine and something that doesn't uh, give off the energy of being full of, let's see, since we're on the radio, we're not going to go
You can say
there.
whatever you want to say. Listen.
Bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
nobody has time for that.
Hey
Like,
Shawty. He can't hit you with a Shawty.
no, and like we kind of playing on what you just said about digital, like with everything being online and social media.
Hmm.
Like I just find that it's interesting that guys think what you're doing, like WID question mark. That's not.
Wait, I use that.
Yeah. So you
But
should probably follow up with how are you doing
no,
and
I only do
what are you doing.
WYD. Like, nah, I only use it when
Oh,
we've conversed like throughout the day, and then it'll be like 8 or 9 o'clock, and I'm like WYD.
but that I feel like there are people that's their only
That's the
opening
initial.
line. It's
Yeah.
always WID question mark. And to me that's like just stalking. That's not engaging. And if that's the only question you ever ask, that means you just want to know what am I doing? So where are you? Like why? Like it doesn't say like you're interested. So maybe that's nitpicky to some, but that's what it reads off.
Okay.
Or hey stranger and never saying anything
Oh my
else.
God, stranger.
Yeah.
That
I
is.
actually confronted a guy about that.
Whoa,
Uh,
confronted.
yeah, because he made a comment like I was scared. And I thought, what do you mean I'm scared? Like,
Mm.
um, you saying hey stranger is not, to me that's, I'm not what am I to say to that? Like I'm not shooting my shot like you are. Like
Yeah,
so
that's a terrible shot, by the way.
yeah. And so
Stranger.
apparently because I never said anything more than oh all is well because I answered the question, then I was running. But I just thought that that's still not accountable and placing blame on me. Like but I don't know. It's an interesting world out here.
Because men are trash. Now, let me say this. I've gotten better. I used to be terrible, man. I can't say any names. I love her dearly, but I used to
You tickled.
because now I'm thinking about how trash I used to be. I used to flirt with a lot of girls at a time. Just flirt. We'd probably date every once in a while, when I could or when they were available. But I used to send like I don't remember how it used to work, but this is old school, y'all. So this was before there was actually a group text message. You know how you could like send a text message to like 10 people, but it would go to them individually. So I would
Right.
have like a generic text. I'm like, hey, what's going on with you? What you up to today? And I would just send it to like the 7 or 8 people I was talking to. Some of them were
Oh,
like,
God.
wait,
Ready.
wait,
No.
listen, but
Continue. This is a safe space. Go ahead.
yeah,
Continue.
but the problem was I included someone in that who wasn't romantic. They were just my friend. They're like a sister to me. I love them. And after a while, and then I would see who would contact me back, then I would engage in conversation. But after a while, she was like, do not be sending me the generic ass text message you be sending them hoes just to find out what they got going on. I'm not one of them. You will address me separately.
Okay. I am here for her. Yes, queen.
I was like, oh, my bad. And I was like, how the hell did she know?
Yes, because we know.
Yeah, I've never tried to outsmart a woman. No need to be sneaky. No need to lie. I'm very upfront, open, honest. Cause I ain't got time. The lie it's too hard to keep up with a lie. I ain't got time.
So
Okay, so are you? So the last person you met or talked to, who was the last person that had your heart?
ooh.
Too much? Too soon?
Way too much.
Too bad. Let's go. Okay, you know what? Hold that question. Wait, I have 2 more questions before we get to that. We can get to that.
I was ready. I didn't realize this is so different. This is a whole new energy from the last time. But I'm here. I'm here. I am present.
You gotta hype yourself up.
Yes, you go. Come
Okay.
on, girl.
Are you into? Have you ever tried online dating? Are you into online dating at all?
It's not my fave. Actually, recently I got on Bumble, and that was interesting. The last time I online dated was when I first moved to Dallas, so that was like 6 years ago, and then I online dated again very recently, maybe like 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. I'm not a fan.
No. What is the issue with it?
Bumble better than the other online dating service because I have control over it. But I don't. It was very overwhelming. I felt like it was a lot of people coming at me.
Yeah,
and
I can imagine. Yeah.
No. This conversation, I cannot wait.
You're very photogenic, so I know whatever picture you put up, I'm like, damn. So
it was just way too much for me, and so I didn't like it because it wasn't quality. It wasn't like I had a whole lot to like choose from.
Yeah.
It was just everything. Like it opened up the floodgates, and I was scared. Like it was a little.
Oh my god.
Okay. But I really I did like the second time, but I haven't gone out on a date from it. So I find that my personality is more organic and like conversational.
Yep.
And like it's very old fashioned. Like I think I'm old fashioned. I don't think that medium works for me. It's not something that I'm opposed to. And I really was trying to be open. It was actually a client that suggested that why don't you try online dating? And I was like, okay, because I always challenge them, my clients and my friends, like to do different things. And so I was trying to be open, but no success thus far.
Okay. No success thus far. So now, I think we talked about this last time. Didn't I ask you about who had your heart last time? I think I asked you this.
No, like the last time that I've been like head over heels in love, I feel like it was. Oh, we have a visitor calling in.
No, I'm just. My phone is just. That's work
Look,
actually.
You see that pause, that delay, that
Don't
deflect.
do that. You know what? Don't turn this around on me.
So yeah, like it's been a while. We're gonna go back to a while. because like I've been kind of so like thinking that through. Like, was that like really love? Did you love this person,
Yes.
or did you like
Oh,
were
I'm
you
not
just
alone.
infatuated? Like, so like now, like I feel like it's been longer than what I thought it would have been. Honestly, like if you would have asked me that question, say maybe like a year ago, I might would have had a different answer. But like now, I don't know. I don't know if those it was love. I think I was just infatuated.
Wow. That's interesting. I I try to run from those conversations with myself only because we're constantly redefining what we think and how we feel about things and people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to look back at I've really only had two serious relationships and say was I in love? It's I can't really Rob now can't answer that. It's not fair. I'm not the same person I was when I was in those relationships. So Rob now would probably say, "Hey, you probably weren't." But back then I definitely was because I know how invested I was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah.
I agree. I agree. Cause I've been like every relationship that I've been in, I feel like I have given it all of me, like all my flaws included, but like
Mhm.
it was all I had to give in that space. Like so I feel like I've never halfway given to anybody that I've talked to. So
Mm.
that I can walk away from. Like that's why I'm like I don't know, like I feel like they didn't sometimes some people didn't give me enough to make me say that it was genuinely love. Like I feel like I was almost like you wasn't showing me enough for that to be love. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't love. Like I might have had a lot of love for you, but it wasn't reciprocated to me. So
That sucks.
it does, but it's okay. Like I am a lover. Like that's one thing that I feel like I'm very resilient,
Mhm.
and I think that that resiliency it shows in even how I love. Like because I get like I know that that piece of my life will be fulfilled.
Yes. Yes, I feel the same way. I'm gonna have a little Robert Wilson III running around one day. If I meet someone who lets me name him that, I don't
Tell
know.
me if somebody lets me name them that.
Because I'm non-confrontational, so my woman is like, I don't know. I don't like arguing and stuff, so she'll probably get her way probably more often than not.
That's good. Good for her.
Yeah, huh. Bad for me. That's part of my problem, but I'm working on that. So,
Oh,
all right. So we in the Dirty 30 Club. We got a little experience under our belt, little heartache, little pain, but we've learned and we've grown. So for the women out there who may have been where you've been or are where you are, do you have any life advice for them in general?
yes. Love yourself. Love yourself to the way all the things that you would do for someone else. Like I feel like that's why um to kind of take the accountability because I think even in my conversation earlier it is talking about what someone else did to me or not did to me. Like but the accountability is like I don't think I've like now I really love on myself like in a different way. Like I nurture me, I feed me, like and it's a lot deeper than just buying myself a new outfit
Mm,
or get my hair done. Like I I think those are important pieces like that counts in some space. However, like loving yourself is like sometimes taking just time for yourself.
yep.
Like turning your phone on do not disturb or taking social media fast or choosing even though I like today I know what I've been my personal goals and I was they had Chick-fil-A at the studio that I'm at
Yes.
and I love Chick-fil-A. However, I'm slight germaphobe, so
Oh.
they know this. Like this is not new or familiar. Like I said it day one because when
Mm,
I went into the space, I was like, I'm going to be very transparent, and I'm a germaphobe. So when I walked in the break room, it was like four people talking over the Chick-fil-A,
mm,
um, like platter,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, "You're not getting any, are you?" Nope, not. Sorry. Thank you.
know what y'all breath on it. Chick-fil-A sandwich with extra
But they
breath.
know that. And so after work, I was gonna go to Chick-fil-A and get my own, and I'm like, why? Like you have food at home, and I've really been trying to like eat at home, and that's something personal. It has a lot. It's dual purpose, and it's just something that I've been working on. So, anywho, I went. I did not go to Chick-fil-A, and I did eat at home, and I don't know where was I going with this.
You do. You're talking about loving on yourself.
Right.
And taking care of yourself.
Part of loving me is the fact that one, I stay accountable to my goals. Like, and my goal, like that's loving me, like beyond just the health factor of it. But like, I now can say I feel good about not eating Chick-fil-A today. Like, even if I eat it next week, like I had so much food here to eat. Like, it's not like, oh well, I didn't cook dinner, let me grab something, and it makes sense. Like, to me, it would have been just a shrug shoulder type purchase that I didn't need to make, and I got really good food, healthy food. Like, so that's loving myself kind of threefold. Like loving my body, loving my wallet, and like staying accountable to something. And so I just think it's really important for women to like take that initiative for self, because I have done it for other people. For mates, like just investing in their dream, staying up an extra hour for somebody else's thing, when okay, well, now it makes it easy to stay up for my thing because I believe in it and I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
Like, and I know I'm working it. So all of that, I think, goes into loving yourself, and not just in a superficial way. So
I agree with you. You just said something extremely important. What I got from that is a big part of what you call loving yourself, or a part of loving yourself for you is, for lack of a better word, keeping control. And I think a lot of us lose control and we forget when we hit a rough patch. Because I would say this for myself right now. Today, I feel like I'm in a rough patch. And I meant to put this on Instagram, so y'all gonna get it here. And I think I'm gonna actually post this episode this week, actually. It being whatever, September, whatever. No, it's gonna be October 2nd, 3rd, whatever. I'm resetting. Like, I have to reset. Like, I stepped out on faith. I did something. I was pretty good at it, but I know it's time for me to move on. I know when it's time to move on, because there's just a certain level I don't ever want to go below again. And that scares the shizzle out of me. So I'm like, ooh, it's right around that corner. Can't do this. So in the past, that might have really upset me, because I would have felt like I failed, or I didn't do it, or I didn't make it. But I have to remember, bro, you're single. You have no kids. You have no real hooks in you. You have no real obligations. The world is, oh God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. The world is your oyster. So it is. So I'm like, yo, why are you not taking it? Like, you are in control. Granted, I believe in God and God is in control, but y'all know what I mean. Like, you have the ability to make a decision to make things different. Do something different. Why are you choosing to stay here? If you're unhappy with A, B, C, and D, change A, B, C, and D. Look at them and say, what can I do to change this? Or how can I better myself to do X, Y, and Z? Like today, kind of like you, I relaxed. I tried to relax. I had to deal with some client issues, but I relaxed. I had some Waffle House. Oh, it was so good.
Waffle House.
It's
Nothing like Waffle House, though. That's country and culture.
Yeah, it's been a while. I had some Waffle House. Right, as a Waffle House, doing my podcast and play some Xbox. Just relaxing, not being bothered, not letting the world get to me. And also looking at my dream board, looking at what I need to do and how I need to get it done, working on it. Doing a little slack job, but working on it. So I think that's a big part of it too. So if you're out there listening, know that you're not alone. You're not the only one who goes through struggles. You're not the only one who contemplates things and reflects on your past. And that you have a choice. You have a choice. It might not be a favorable choice all the time.
Right.
It might not be the popular choice all the time. But it's better, I think it's better to reset than to, force yourself into submission to where you're forced to reset. Like, if I got to reset, I want to be in control of it.
Right.
Versus the universe just tossing me all about.
Where you're saying control, like I often like to say, like even like shifting perspective, like
yes,
it's not that you have, like I've been using this analogy a lot lately. Like in life, I feel like we define our lane, and whatever that lane is, like that is the control that you have. Because for you, you say what it is that you want to do, and you create this lane for yourself.
Yep.
And sometimes, like the margins for that lane, like we determine how rigid or loose that they are.
You better say it.
Our boundaries and all of that, like how we develop our life. And like there are moments where just like you're driving in your car and you're going down the street and you look over and you're like, dang, I didn't know they opened a Chick-fil-A here.
Right.
Like, like, and you find your car going out of the boundaries. Like you don't just like turn drastically and reg or whatever. You redirect. You read like, nope, I'm gonna stay in my lane. Or I note to self, I'll come back to that later. Even though that's gonna serve valuable for me, it may not be my timing. Mm-hmm. And the balance of like really like functioning in your lane is understanding and knowing when to turn and when to stay straight and redirecting your vision, your vantage point to like stay in that path, because social media can have you distracted. People can have you distracted.
Yes.
Financial status can have you distracted. Ooh, like all of these different things, we get distracted because we may desire them, need them, want them in our lives, but do we want that right now today? Like, do I become late to my appointment just to turn, to get something to eat for no reason, just because I saw it? Or do I just make a note of it and then I go to my appointment and then later plan that, and now my lane is still, I'm moving down it smoothly instead of very drastically and out of order and out of control. And that's how you maintain that. I feel like it's really important to redirect your mind and redirect your perspective. So
yo, wow, I get gems from you all the time. I'm gonna say this to y'all because I've been a victim of this. I hate to use the word victim, but it's the only way I can think of it. What she's saying about your lane is extremely true. And what you have to be careful of is people who may be in the passenger seat or in the back seat trying to tell you which direction to go in. Yeah. Or you might be behind, you and this one car might be in the same lane. They might be behind you, or you might be behind them. If they decide to get off on exit 292, that don't mean that's where you got to go.
Right,
like,
right.
you gotta be strong. Wait a minute, be strong. You gotta be strong and say, you know what? This is the path I'm on. This is what I'm trying to do. I love you. You cool. You know what I'm saying? I'll help you out when I can, but like, yo, I'm trying to get here. I can't get here if I'm over here doing this. You know what I'm saying? You can't spread yourself too thin. And I mean, for lack of a better word, you got to be selfish sometimes. Like, it's like, yo, this is about me. This is my personal journey. I got to take care of me, because if you're not all right, how can you take care of somebody else?
You cannot deposit, or you cannot withdraw where there is no deposits. And like other people can't get from you where you're not building that back up. Like that's so critical that you put in your tank so that other people can draw from you. You do want to be a good friend. You do want to be in a position to give. Like, but I cannot give what I haven't received. Like, and I have to continue to fill this person up and hold this person in high regard so that I can be an amazing, partner, friend. So I think that's really important.
I think that's why a lot of people run into conflict too. Like, I accept you where you are and who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have friends who are in the business world and do finances. I keep them over there. I don't try to drag them into my world of DJing or gaming. Like, that's what you do. I respect what you do. So when I need something in that realm, bam, that's who I'm going to. You You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta like you want people around you that's gonna respect your grind, your hustle, and what you're trying to do, and respect your lane, and not always be trying to shift you out of it for selfish reasons. You know, and you can't always expect someone to understand what you're trying to do either. That's another big thing. Like so many people, I see so many friends argue and fight over stuff, and I'm like, yo, that's who they are. Like some people think it's a choice, but it's like, no, this is literally who I am. Like you're asking me to change who I am for you
And
for whatever reason.
People, I feel like everybody else say it's easy to say I'm on a journey, or like this is my life, this is my journey, this is like my process. But like for some reason, like when you look at somebody else, you forget that that person is actively physically going through a process.
Right.
And like sometimes they're not in alignment. Like so as much information, as much know-how as I may know on a topic, I can talk to you and push that on you. But like you're not gonna, if you don't know it, never had exposure to it, never understood it, never saw it, saw in any capacity, no matter what we're talking about. Like how can I expect you to be an expert in 30 minutes, in an hour, or even a week? Like, well, I told this person this last week. Well, that could have been the very first time in their life that they've ever had, even if they are at an age like, and I feel like personally I've been gifted in just kind of meeting people on their level. Like, and I have friends in a lot of different subcategories. Like you name it, I feel like I got a friend that can relate to that, or reflect that thing. And so with that being said, like I think that I'm gifted in just seeing people where they are. Like I know that that's all you got. You got to love. Bishop Jakes, my pastor, had said, you love people. This is when I was going to the Potter's house. Love people on the level in which they are capable of being loved. And like, no matter what, if you have a gallon worth of love to give, if I'm only pouring it in a quart-sized container, I cannot give you my gallon. It's like my gallon is still valid. It's still a true thing, but you're not ready to receive all the love that I have. And I feel like I've experienced that, like in friendship. I've experienced that in business. I've experienced that in relationships where I have wanted to give to certain situations, and they were just not at capacity. There's nowhere for this to go, like, because their mind, their whole being cannot deal with that, and vice versa. There's been times when that was me, like, so
Same.
it's like understanding both sides, like, and I think life has a way of teaching you both sides at different times of your life, different seasons. So that's why you have to, everything's a lesson. And like, if you're not paying attention to those lessons, then you're going to repeat it. Like, history repeats itself. So the point is to learn the lesson so you can move on in the whole chapter, in the book of life.
I think
Like,
we share a brain.
You don't want to be stuck on one chapter.
Like, I think we share a part of a brain.
I'm here for it.
That's like one of my philosophies in life. Like, and it's funny because that's 1,000% true. Like, if you don't break that cycle, you're gonna repeat it. And I feel like that's where I'm at now in my life. I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like, shit, I've been here before. I remember when I was in this situation and I went left. Not saying that I should have went right, but things would have been different if I would have went right. Now I'm at the same intersection. Circumstances are different. A little older, a little crustier, a little grays. But I'm like, okay, I can make this right-hand turn this time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And see what's down this other avenue. I don't know what's up with all these traveling references. But
maybe exposure.
Yeah.
You guys who do not know, that's the name of my blog, these inside plugs.
Yes, please plug them. Shout out to our viewership. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. The last podcast I posted last week with Jennifer McPherson about mental health. The day after that posted, I went on SoundCloud to check numbers, and I had like 85 plays. Like, that's a lot for us. So, thank you. Yeah, a lot from North Carolina too. So, but shout out to y'all for that. But you're funny. So I'm gonna let you go. I really, really appreciate the words. I really needed that personally because I'm trying to get my life together and do some things. But go ahead and plug where people can find you. Tell them about your products. Whatever you got to do, get it off your chest. Let them know.
Well, you can find me at Lash and Soul or at Expozher. That's spelled Lash, LASHAND, Soul, SOUL, or Exposure is spelled EXPOZHER. And I am my website information is on both of those platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. So wherever I'm on all social media, it's been a pleasure. This is always a good time. I thank you for inviting me back, Robert. Like I really appreciate it. Like this has just been so much fun. As I start working on all these different projects, I have fun. Like so. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being a part of this. My podcast is very therapeutic for me. I want to push a new narrative, a new conversation. You mentioned social media earlier, and I see so much negativity put out into the world and drama and stuff like that, even on some of the podcasts that I do love. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, what can I do that I would love that could make a change? So I want to expose people to different walks of life, different opportunities, different thoughts, different mindsets, different people. So I hope that someone gets something from every single episode that we do. So I appreciate you for scheduling and sticking to the schedule because I ain't the best at that. Some of my other guests ain't at the best of that, but we gonna have more guests, y'all. We gonna keep pushing. I really, really thank y'all. Make sure you check the comment section or description section. I'm gonna have all of Jessica's links there as well, and we will catch
Yes,
y'all
you can
next
get
time.
candles, you can get lashes. There's so much more to come. I'm really excited about this next season. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, y'all stay tuned. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.